I already know the answer. I think I know the answer. But as the resident Laker fan in the house, whose team is the LA Lakers 2018-2019?
Whose team is it? I mean, it seemed like it's Magic Johnson's team right now. To be honest, I don't think LeBron should even be focused on that. Like, whose team it is, this, that, and the other. And I kind of like the attitude that can I take this out of my ear, man, because it's always doing static.
Yeah.
But I like the attitude that that LeVar is bringing to the table in a way, because I think when you play with a player as good as LeBron, players got to remember who they are. They can't just defer everything to what LeBron wants. You know, at some point we all pros and we all get a paycheck from the Lakers and we all paid to do a job. And you shouldn't be looking to defer to anybody. Now, that being said, you got to play together.
Right.
That being said, you got to, the best player probably should get the most shots and things like that. But for the most part, guys got to come in and play. And I think that's why Magic picked the veterans that he picked. None of them will bow down to LeBron. You know, all of them are going to come. They're going to pay homage. They're going to be like, yo, this is my teammate. We're protecting LeBron, but I got to play my game too. And so that's what you need, because if everybody just bow down to what he wants, this team is not going to win.
No question. Ice Cube joining us. You're fascinating to ask this question about, because you've done it. You've diversified your portfolio, right? Mm-hmm. You've gone from just a rapper to all of a sudden kind of a mogul between movies and now the big three and all the other different things that you've done. It's really fascinating to see how you've diversified your own personal portfolio. How challenging is it, though, to still be a great basketball player when you're in LA? Like, in Cleveland, it's one thing. It's a little harder here because everybody wants your attention. Everybody, I got a project for you, Bron. I got something for you. Everybody pulling at you, and he's got shows coming on Netflix, on Amazon, on Showtime, on HBO. How hard is it to still be the great basketball player when you're pulled in so many different directions in this city?
It's not going to be hard if he keeps everything in perspective. You know, a lot of guys have been successful in L.A. You know, they thought this was going to happen to Magic Johnson, you know, that he was going to party too much. And so, look, you got to come, you got to deal with, you know, it's a lot of things to do out here, a lot of distractions. And you have to stay focused and you have to have your priorities straight. And I believe LeBron does. And he knows all of this stems from how great of a basketball player he is. And so long as he keeps that in perspective, he'll be all right.
Carmelo Anthony signs with the Rockets. And look, as a longtime Laker fan, I know Bob McAdoo was once upon a time a great scorer that became a bench player. Bill Walton was a league MVP who became a bench player with the Boston Celtics. But some of that is the makeup of the guy.
Yes.
This is Melo, who just like 4 months ago, he was like, I ain't coming off the bench for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And he's working with a guy in Melo-D'Antoni that they had beef last time they worked together.
Yes.
Your best guess, does it work? The idea of Melo playing a tertiary or even less role, coming off the bench and supporting James Harden, supporting Chris Paul, guys he views as his contemporaries, but being part of the supporting cast.
It's not going to work if he don't want to do it. I think D'Antoni's going to make him do it.
But everybody says they want to do it, right? Everybody says like, no, I'll be doing it. I just want to win a ring. I just want to. Everybody says, but the actual, hey, are you gonna be cool in a playoff series, sitting there and watch PJ Tucker and watching Eric Gordon and Clint Capella and Chris Paul and James Harden do work while you have to sit there and wave the towel. Everybody says they want to do it until the moment they got to do it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it was the same situation a couple of years ago with Iguodala. You know, everybody was like, is he going to be able to come off the bench for Steve Kerr? And he sucked it up, came off the bench, won a ring, and won Finals MVP. So the formula is out there. You have to play your role. You're not going to always be the man. And so if Carmelo doesn't want to go to Houston and play his role, it's going to be a problem because I think D'Antoni is going to take out a little revenge and make him play his role.
The semis in the Big Three are in Dallas this Friday. The final, of course, is next Friday in Brooklyn. I love the fact some really big names are playing at a really high
Yes.
The level has jumped.
Yes.
I told you personally off air last year that the Big Three became a thing, but it had a next step in it. It feels like there's a next step that the talent is, no disrespect to season one, but pronouncedly better, if that's a word, in season two. Fair?
Yeah, fair enough, for sure. You know, guys, they didn't even know what to expect season one. You know, even though they signed up, they showed up in Brooklyn. It was 15,000 people out there, and I saw some 15-year vets' eyes get this big, you know, because they realized, man, I'm back in the arena, and too much pride, too much legacy. I knew they had to go hard, and they went hard, but they wasn't really in shape for that. This year, they know what to expect. They knew how taxing our version of 3-on-3 can be, and you have to come in shape to be successful. And the second-year guys came in shape, and our guys who have the big names who you know didn't play last year, you know, their tongues was hanging out for the first few weeks. And I think next year they'll come back even more in shape. And so guys are realizing this pro sports, this ain't just the rec center. And they're preparing for it.
No, the level of physicality is also something that guys, you know, it's one thing to have a big body lean on you at the YMCA or playing pickup ball. It's another thing to have a pro big body leaning on you.
Yeah, that know how to do it right.
Yes.
And, you know, Keith Bogans played in his first game last week, and he came over. He said, man, this ain't what I'm used to. Yeah. And that's what you want to hear. You want to hear that it's not easy in there. Guys are playing hard. It's a physical game that I grew up loving. You know, I grew up Daryl Dawkins fan, Moses Malone, you know, the Artist Gilmores of the world, you know, bruisers on the inside.
Even if you go back to the 90s when the Heat and the Knicks were fighting in the playoffs, like that was a brutally physical, tough basketball. And most of these guys were in that era. We're ending in that era. And that's, I think, the best embodiment of it. In trying to explain how it's different for LeBron. It's not taken away from LeBron, but the league is different now. It's much more finesse, much more threes. This is probably look, this is maybe a little bit more physical, but about as physical as it was then.
You know, it's a game that I believe, you know, big boys in the paint, you know, little boys on the outside. And if you want to go in that paint, you consider yourself a big boy, and you got to handle yourself accordingly.
Okay, so let's see here. Corey Maggette and Katino Mobley's team, Power, taking on Tri-State, and three-headed monster. That's Rashard Lewis, Reggie Evans, taking on Three's Company. That's, of course, Baron Davis, L.A. legend, Drew League legend. And had he not torn his knee at UCLA, I think he would have gone down as one of the 20 best players in the history of the league. And Baron Davis had some moments in the NBA with the Warriors when he was in top shape, but people forget what a freak he was before he tore his knee at UCLA.
Without a doubt. You know, even in the Big Three, you know, most guys take a minute to warm up to the league. You know, first 2 or 3 games, he out there showing out, you know, putting up 20. So it just shows you what kind of player he still is, but you can imagine what he used to be in the league and in college, you know, especially if he wouldn't have tore up his knee.
Big Three co-founder and CEO Ice Cube, kind enough to join us here in The Herd. Coming up.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.